Hey, hello, welcome everybody. I think while some still might join in, I use the opportunity to bother you for a moment with our trailer for the new book. Stop. I think I paired without sound, right? Feels good.
Oh, look, awesome.
Finally, we have it at hand. Took some time and took some effort. So it's really great, and it's also great to see all of you here. So that's fantastic news. So first things first, let me share with you the discount code because the publisher also provided us with a generous 30% discount in case you want to get one of the copies of the book, which I have already at hand. So having said that, I don't want to take too much of a time because I think we really should celebrate and use it to get also some insights from the authors. We have many here. That is really awesome. But I take a few minutes because I want to share not too much, but a few slides with you, which give a little bit of a context and maybe a little bit of a glimpse of what the book is about. So the book is about digital project practice, and it's the third book of the book series. So it's available right now. You can order it, and as I already mentioned and put in the chat, we have a 30% discount if you buy it on the website from the publisher. On the Routledge website, it's available there. And the book is about digital project practice. And the third one in particular is for financial professionals. So all digital project practice books about technology, digital transformation, and it turned out that like the human aspect is really the core of it. Here a book, a short picture of all three books of the series all together. And in particular, digital project practice and banking and fintech, there's a wide range of topics, and they really cover different perspectives. And I'm sure not all authors agree on all topics, as it is a fast-moving topic, and there are really different perspectives, different experiences that all come together in this wonderful book. I also want to have a big shout out for Olena Schaffron. She is the designer of all cover pictures of the book's Digital Project Practice series. She's a designer from the Ukraine, and even in sometimes very harsh conditions, she comes up with, I think, really, really amazing illustrations that give a good glimpse. And I think they also encourage to open the book and have a look into it. So I was really happy that she also agreed to make us a really nice cover for the third book of our series for banking and fintech. So a huge thanks to her and a big shout out for Olena and her wonderful work. When we open the book, then we will find a lot of different topics. And we obviously, in this call today, we cannot go into all details, but I want to introduce at least some of the ideas, what it's about, and what we can find in this book is different perspectives. So we are starting with really what is project management in finance about in the digital era, and then it's about communication. The human factor is, I think, very important, even when we speak about a dry domain like finance and banking. So we created a communication framework, a canvas, how to do that. We have 2 chapters on process automation in this context, which I think very relevant and very, very important topics. Another very important topic is blockchain and crypto economics. So we have another 2 chapters on that. Then digital disruption, very important. Another topic where we have 2 chapters on is crowdfunding as a financing alternative, and one topic that explores in particular the success factors. Then we have a chapter on embedded finance. We have another chapter on buy now, pay later, and about the advantages and also problems that come with it. We have a chapter that explores zero trust in banking. We have another topic about sustainable development and a case study here. And then we have 2 chapters that I think are very interesting that cover regulation in banking. And regulation is, I think, also a very important topic, and in fact, a kind of driver of digital transformation, because a stable and clear regulatory framework can help to provide digital transformation. And the chapter Working With, Not Against explores exactly the idea that a collaboration with the regulator is maybe a very promising approach. So having said that, I just want to give you a little glimpse from what is in this book. And one of the ideas that we explore among many other ideas is that banking gets more and more complex. So that we transform banks into platforms is already a kind of an old idea in this overall context. We speak now more and more about ecosystems that are interconnected. We speak about more and more APIs, we speak about open banking, and we speak about fairly an increasing complexity. And when we have increasing complexity, then sometimes the solution lies in we need more communication and we need to speak about something. And one of the ideas in this context is the financial technology canvas. And for this, I want to provide you also with a direct download that you can find this template also on our website that I just showed you before. Here you go. And that is really about getting a better overview in the ecosystems with open banking in complex systems where tools and techniques get more and more complex and you need to get more stakeholders. And there's a lot of things already in place about technical communication. But as we already have seen in the overview of the chapters, it's not only about technology, it's also about business, it's about regulation, it's about getting many stakeholders on board. And there are various ideas in this book where we not only cover academical knowledge, but try to provide hands-on solutions and give some examples how this complexity can be managed. And I think this idea is a very nice example of that. So having said that, just a few more announcements in this context. We hope also to get some engagement, not only in this call, but we also have a group on LinkedIn. So I invite you as well to join us on this group. And if you have any questions or suggestions, then this is one way to approach that. Obviously not the only way, but one way how we additionally can facilitate communication. And having said that, that was already almost the end of my slideshow. Just again, information about our discount code if you want to have it, and that the book is available on the Routledge site. But as initially mentioned, I don't want to have here a lengthy presentation with PowerPoint. I'd rather invite some of the authors that are here in the call to share a few of the ideas and maybe also the motivation why you wrote that chapter. I don't know with whom to start, maybe with 𝗏𝗏, because I think for you it's the most crazy time, and I really appreciate that you in the middle of the night join our call. So welcome and thank you for that. Or we could start with 𝗪𝗵𝘆, that she was the first chapter in the book. So I'm not sure who of you wants to start to speak a little about what motivated you to write this particular chapter.
Okay, I can start because I do have a hard drop at 10:30 tomorrow. So yeah, just a quick introduction on myself. So I'm 𝗪𝗵𝘆. I'm based in London, and I actually work in, for one of the leading fintech company, FIS. It's a Fortune 500 company. I mean, we offer financial solutions, right? And we have probably about 450 financial solutions we offer to our customer. And I think that's how I actually got to know 𝗪𝗏𝗍, because 𝗪𝗏𝗍 was one of my clients. I remember managing one of his project, and I am now a head of optimizer within our project management practice, where we can have up to 6,000 in-flight project, right, at one given time. It's huge, and it's a fairly large team, overseeing 300 project program managers and portfolio directors. So I think what motivated me to write this chapter, to be fairly honest with you, I didn't need much motivation. It was really narrating what I'm living and breathing today, because I'm at the forefront pioneering a new operating model to drive operational efficiencies. And one of the key initiatives is really to onboard, an innovative project management tool where we can automate manual, repetitive tasks, right, which would basically end up freeing our PM's capacity so they can focus on more meaningful work. So the chapter I've contributed is really about how project managers will lead in a digital age. And I think when ChatGPT was launched in late 2022, it really, I would say, awakened the world to the transformative potential of AI. And I think for me, AI is more a treat than a threat. And this is something that we are currently doing, right? Trying to really change mindset and thinking about the trio of opportunities that Gen AI will bring, especially in a fintech organization like ours. It will accelerate business value, it will drive business growth, but most importantly, it will actually foster, more creative and meaningful work for people. So I think for me, using innovative tools is really, for PM, they will see the tool as another project resource, right? Doing all the admin part of project management where the PM can focus. So the chapter I've written obviously is about that, is how, the whole perception of project management will change in the new world, right? Because I think project managers will no longer sort of tie in with, some of the success criteria. We always talk about, the triple constraint, that budget, scope, timeline. But I think project managers will evolve, will slowly shift into becoming value managers in the value delivery landscape. So yeah, I think it's all about what I'm saying. What we're doing today is what I've written. It's about the evolution of PM, and also how do we develop the next generation project managers skill set, because it's all about being, digitally aware and having this data. Everything is about data. So we need to really educate our PM to be more sort of data centric and be able to interpret data and understand trend. So yeah, there's a whole new world evolving, I would think, for project managers, which is an exciting time. So I think that's the kind what I've written on the chapter. So I won't say too much. It's a good book.
Yes.
So get
No,
your
I really appreciate it, and I think you nailed it. And I was really happy that we could include your chapter, and I enjoyed reading it. That's why I also think it kind of sets the scene pretty good for the book. That's why I put it as chapter one in the book.
Yeah,
And
thank you so much.
it gives a good summary and introduction. So that is really helpful and much appreciated.
Thanks, Subhas.
Okay, maybe Kurosh, you want to go next?
Sure thing, Tobias. Hello to everybody. Sorry if I'm speaking a little bit low. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm in the lobby and it's 3 a.m. here. We're in the middle of nowhere in Olympic National Park. But I missed it last time to meet with everybody, so I just wanted to make sure that I make it this time. I want to also thank Tobias first before I just say a few words for his hard work and for connecting us all together and to making this publication of this book happening as well. Really appreciate it, Tobias, for all the good work that you've done. So the motivation for me to write the chapter is basically is that I've been always interested in financial processes, and I've been observing a lot of broken processes. At the same time, all these advancements and developments with AI are happening, and that will allow to automate processes. And I've been observing a lot of misalignments, a lot of inefficiencies, ineffectiveness in automating financial processes. I also teach it in my classes to my students. I believe any automation, any changes to implement a strategy, effectively to implement a strategy depends on building blocks of organizations or companies that are processes. So that's what the perspective that I had in the book chapter in the book. I just wanted to say these few words. And again, it's great to see everybody, great authors, great scholars here. It's a great pleasure. And thanks for inviting me to write the book, Tobias. I appreciate it, and looking forward to all the great future collaborations.
And in this case, I can add that you are one of the authors that contributed to each of the 3 books of the series. So well done. And I hope we can keep that series going. That is really a pleasure, and I appreciate. It's very difficult because this book has really contributors from all over the world. We just have 𝗪𝗵𝘆 from London. You're from the US. We are here in Asia. So it's really one of the strengths, I think, of this book, that we have different perspectives from all angles around the globe. Dr. Said is raising the hand, and I think he has to move on soon to teach a class here in Bangkok. So maybe you want to go next.
Yeah, that's exactly the case, Tobias. Thank you very much. I was rushing just because I need to get off my car right now. Very close to Column Tower, but I cannot wait to thank you, Tobias, and also definitely all the co-authors for your excellent contributions. Like before, I was actually in the previous edition as well. It's been a great experience, and I'd just like to thank Tobias for coming up with such a topic that is important in particularly this time we are in, fintech and technology and finance, especially the finance world in general. So I think this was a very important topic that we worked on all, and I really feel honored to be a part of this journey and to be part of with all the great scholars and authors that we have as collaborators. And thanks to Tobias for leading this another wonderful book. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Said. Gibran, you are unmuted. You want to say something?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so there's 2 connections, one from my phone, that's for audio, and the other is for video. That's why I'm muted. So hi everyone, my name is Gibran. I am also someone who comes from the industry. I guess I'm a mix of both. So I work in Bangkok, originally from Pakistan. I lead global fintech initiatives for an online travel agency based in Asia, but covering the globe. So fintech is not only my day job, it's also part of my professional title. What the impetus for being part of this book was Dr. Tobias. So other than my day job, I also am pursuing a doctorate in business administration and embedded finance, which is the pursuit of making finance invisible, is my thesis. And very fortunate to have Dr. Tobias as my thesis advisor. So it's something that we've been working on together and researching on how embedded finance and user experience gels together to improve conversion and why it is growing so fast and expected to become a multi-billion-dollar industry. So that was the impetus. It's also what I do on a day-to-day basis, trying to offer payment and fintech solutions to customers from every part of the world. So it was a real pleasure to work on this. Hopefully the research also proceeds and we get some interesting findings which we can share later on, maybe in book 4, who knows. But was a real pleasure working on this, and it is a very important topic. I think fintech has a lot of growth in front of it, and I think it's important to create that awareness through works like this. Great to see you all. Thank you very much, Dr. Tobias.
Hey, great. Thank you. I don't know who wants to go next. We have so many interesting guests here, so it's hard to say. But maybe Florian, you want to go. You have one of the chapters about crowdfunding, and in particular, what are the signals that make it successful? How did you come up with that topic? What motivated you?
Okay, so, first of all, also thank you very much that we could contribute. So, and I also should tell everyone a big hello and also welcome from my co-author Eva Stumpfegger. Unfortunately, she cannot be here because she's in a lecture right now, so training the next managers and financial experts. So what I liked about this chapter and why we came up with this, so I'm an economist. I also teach economics, and so we found it as a very good connection between both. So the finance world, the practical world, and the economic world on the other side, which has the theories and these explanations, which in the end and what this chapter is then about is that we have typically in markets these problems about information asymmetries, which is of course especially true in crowdfunding. So if you're a new company and no one knows whether you will be successful, whether you will be productive. And on the other side, you have the investors who, of course, they just want to invest in something which is also promising. So the theory in end tells us that, of course, both sides have an incentive to lower these information asymmetries. And this is especially in this case that those who want the money have to show that they are as good as possible, that they can show that they are productive. And therefore, we thought this was very interesting to figure out what are signals that really work, because signaling theory says, okay, signals have to have certain thresholds to be effective. So a signal in the end, if it's too easy to obtain, so like, okay, I can write, I'm good, okay, that can everyone. So therefore, this is not a good signal. On the other side, I can have maybe hundreds of years of experience, which is unobtainable because no one lives that long. So we must find some signals that really work. And this is where we also then search the literature. There is a huge literature actually on signals that work. Also, Eva, I, and the student here at MBS did also some research on it, some empirical research, which we also used then the outcomes of this to figure out what are the main success factors which are then useful. So therefore, also then the intention of our chapter is really to give a kind of checklist to potential companies that want to be active in crowd investing. So what they should take care about and maybe what doesn't matter. So that it's a clear checklist which they can really figure out what they should do or not. So, and I think this is quite interesting. So that this is on the one side funded by the theory, by economic theory. So it's not something we came up simply up. So there was a big variety actually, and we could really identify what is the most promising signal. And I think this is helpful to everyone working in this industry.
And I hope that this is for sure true for your chapter, and I think also for the others. That's, I think, one of the strengths of this book, that it's really very practical oriented, and we cover topics that interest a lot. And this crowdsourcing or crowdfunding topic inspired not only you and Eva as authors, but also Volkmar. You also wrote about crowdfunding, and I know that this is a topic that drives you already for quite some time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tobias, and also thank you very much for your work regarding this book. I also, as everyone, really enjoyed working for you for this book. Hello to everyone, shortly introducing myself. So I'm a professor of digital administration at the University of Applied Sciences in Ludwigsburg. That's a town near Stuttgart in the southwest of Germany. And as Tobias already mentioned, I've researched for a lot of time in the crowdsourcing area, especially the crowd working area. So how to deliver work via electronic platforms. And given this book, and given that Tobias I got to know several years ago already at a conference in the US, asked me, I thought about simply contributing a short overview on this topic, crowdfunding, to simply give people also more awareness about this possible instrument, and to deliver some, let's say, more well-known cases on the one hand from the real world, from several areas like politics, like Mr. Obama, who was able to collect for his campaign $750 million using a kind of crowdfunding, or the Grameen Bank in Bangladesh using microfinancing, using small amounts to allow people to get their work done. And I also simply wanted to make aware people that besides traditional kinds of financing, they could use crowdfunding, and also that banks could potentially use crowdfunding as a part of a mixture of financing alternatives for their clients. I also wanted in this short chapter to make people aware of possible pitfalls. Like all things, there are not only advantages, but possible disadvantages. Even really well-known examples like 𝗂𝗫𝗂𝗧 had some pitfalls. I remember 𝗂𝗫𝗂𝗧 very well because some of my colleagues at former universities, University of Kassel, University of St. Gallen, research in this area and use this example a lot. There are several pitfalls. It doesn't work always, but it can be a good part of a general financing mixture. And I simply wanted to give a short overview. Also, giving my background, I worked for 14 years and 9 months in the finance industry. Let's say an IT service provider for the German German savings banks finance group. But nevertheless, this was the intention of my short chapter. And again, nice to see you all, and thank you very much, Tobias. Also, thank you very much, Taylor and Francis, for this kind book. I'm honored and proud to be part of this book. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we are proud to have you. And we're also proud to have Anita and Rafin. And I think there's a link in this context, because this book is not a glorification of fintech. Obviously, there are a lot of opportunities and what can be done. But in this context, sometimes you need also to be a little bit critical. And that's what I really enjoyed about your chapter, that you also illustrate some of the problems that come in this context. And you did some intense research before coming up with this.
Thank you, Tobias. Maybe I'll say a few lines before Rufin could join me, I think. Apologize that Philippa isn't available today because she had to do teaching, but we would like to thank you for the great opportunity and invite us to be part of the great team, wonderful project that you have produced. It has been a great honor to have this opportunity and to be part of the wonderful team, and to be aligned with the international experts across the globe to share some of our thoughts around algorithm of marketing being used in buy now, pay later context. I'm not going to say too much. I think Rufin has got more to say. He's a great expert in this area. The idea of this project is to have some discussions, timely discussions around the changing interrelationship of buy now, pay later consumption that social media platforms and also retailers are using heavily at the moment to promote spending, promote consumption among younger generations, particularly around those millennials and Generation Z, etc. And this our whole team has been trying to work on since, I think, 2022, Rufin, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the project has allowed us to, has given us an opportunity to look at some of those benefits, certainly, such as, greater accessibilities, etc., but also potential drawbacks that had been hidden most of the time in the, from the consumers, from the spenders. So they could be encouraged for impulse borrowing and excessive spending and also lack of regulations, and therefore consumers could be put in a very vulnerable situation. So we're seeing that our chapter, would be able to offer some timely discussions to be part of the bigger ecosystem that fintech companies such as Klarna, etc., that has been heavily promoting the buy now pay later schemes to young generations. So I possibly will hand over the microphone to my colleague, Rufin, the lovely Rufin. Where are you? Are you still hiding? To end maybe the talk, perhaps? Are you still there?
Hello, good morning, good evening, and thank you also from my side for Anita for introducing our chapter, but also for the great opportunity to collaborate with everybody in this room. Also, personal note to 𝗪𝗏𝗿𝗁, to 𝗪𝗏𝗆, basically. And nice, yes. I just wanted to say, and maybe or platform something on a comment that you made earlier, Tobias. And this is the question of, is it now either we're talking about platforms or ecosystems, or is it actually what we see in buy now, pay later as a phenomenon, that the two things are merging? And we see that Klarna, for instance, having platforms itself, but actually operating and situating themselves as an ecosystem in the fintech sector. And I think recently also we see platforms which is almost like an assemblage of different buy now, pay later providers. So I think it is actually quite interesting how the whole market dynamic is changing and shifting from usually what we see traditionally, the B2C relationships, to become a more polyadic relationships. And I think that also looking at our research, what we found, I think that, Anita, please correct me, we looked into symbiotic relationships as well, because we strongly feel that especially consumer behavior literature is predominantly focusing on win-win outcomes, so overshadowing and predominantly focusing on the positive outcomes for the consumer, and therefore neglecting other outcomes. And we found that when we think about win-win, this is actually utopic, and lose-lose is something that actually should be avoided for all parties. And reality is somewhere in between, and most likely somewhere where we have at least a neutral outcome for one or more actors within the ecosystem might be much more beneficial, and also actually granting survival of the actors. So I think that really developing that book chapter with you in this context, fintech, but then also thinking about the dark side of fintech and within the buy now, pay later context was quite enriching. So thank you for the opportunity, and we hope that you enjoy reading the chapters, because we definitely did enjoy reading your chapters as well, and see how you developed the different frameworks and canvases, etc., which I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. And as you also say, Tobias, the narrative is quite strong in the book, and I'm hoping that our target audience will see that as well.
Thank you, and I agree with you. And maybe there's even a shift from the platforms become parts of ecosystems. But maybe Martin, you as industry insider, what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks that I was invited also to participate in this. Maybe I introduce myself first. Martin Schneider is my name, and I work for a traditional German bank right now. My background is a PhD in finance, but I work in the area of IT right now. And there I'm head of digital platforms. The bank is 𝗓𝗂𝗶𝗍𝗂. It's a Landesbank traditional bank, as I said, and I co-authored with a former colleague who was responsible for the robotic process automation in this bank. And well, yeah, one of the platforms I'm responsible is this robotic process automation platform. And in banks or in financial institutions, the ones that at least the ones that I worked for, I can see that there's also a lot of old software, legacy software. It's not that these banks have only the state-of-the-art software in place, and we also see, or I see, and I saw, and my colleagues also, that the processes that are used, so often broken, difficult, complex, and this robotic process automation, how we do it at this bank I work for is that first of all we optimize the processes, and also we automate these processes. But of course, maybe the goal could be to replace old software and these processes completely with state-of-the-art software, but often it's not possible actually. So this RPA software, robotic process automation software, is there to help rule-based processes to automate. And I think it's an interesting topic because it's how it's actually done in financial institutions, how it's the truth, because we don't have all these new software in place like often the fintechs have. But I think it's also a good topic because it's a practical topic, but and also shows the other side, to not only the financial news companies, I would say. And what I like about the book, it's not the first time that I participate. Actually, last time I wrote about open banking and API platform, API management platform. The last book, I like that it's internationally and that it's not only for students, it's not only for practitioners, but it's for both. So thank you, and thank you to all the co-authors and to Tobias actually, to ask me a second time to participate, or third time actually to participate. It's the second time that I did, and I'm very happy to be here.
Okay, much appreciated, and happy to have you on board. And actually, it kind of closes the circle. Now, I'd like also, John, do you want to say a few words from the publisher? Because he's my editor at Taylor and Francis, and he was pretty much the first person that I discussed this book project with. So it's fantastic to now kind of, when we have it now at hand, the book finally feels really good, and it's good to see you.
Well, it's great to see you. And it's great you're hosting this event. It's very exciting. I have to admit, this is the first one ever that I've participated in a book. So I would just like to congratulate you for being so proactive as an author. And I was very happy that you were able to get that discount code and show it before. Hopefully you can show it again. This is the second book we've done in this series. I really appreciate all your efforts in doing. I'm very surprised to see that, several of you have already contributed to this book series twice, and I appreciate it for you for that. I think this is a very good topic, a very timely topic. Last year I published some books in FinTech. They've done very well, so I'm expecting equal high results for this one as well. Now, looking at this is the second book that I'm aware of in the series. So the last one was Industry 4.0 and Work. And now this one is FinTech. And I have to think to myself, what area is Tobias thinking of next? Where to target next? Because you have a very good sense of where to take the series.
Yes.
If I may ask that question now, have you thought about it, or is it too soon to even bring up the topic?
I thought about it already, and I'm not sure if maybe we should have this talk, because there are some really relevant topics that...
Okay, we'll have this topic offline. I didn't want to embarrass you, but I just want to say as an editor, he has a very good sense of what is relevant at the time. And I think FinTech, with everything that's going on, I think it's a very important topic, and I'm also glad that you were able to contribute to this book.
Okay. Thank you so much for making it possible, and also the work behind the scenes. So it's really a pleasure.
Oh no, I appreciate all the work you do, and I appreciate all the work that the contributors do. Even writing a chapter is not a simple task, and I've done it, and I so appreciate you all doing this.
Oh, thank you so much. So great to
Yes.
have it now, and thank you all.
Yeah.
It was amazing to see you, and really, really nice to have all of you. And I hope that we have more book celebrations
Yes.
like this in the
Oh,
future.
yes, definitely. And any of the contributors, if you have not a copy of the book, just contact me and we'll get it taken care of for you.
Okay. Thank you all, and
Well,
have a
thank
nice
you.
day, evening, morning, wherever you are. Enjoy the day.
Yes, thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much. Bye to
Take care.
everyone.
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bita ba business ya ba projet ba nini ba doctorat ba hiyo wafaa wapita. Shitu nilala na nani ya